Our first guest tonight is an Emmy and Academy Award-nominated actor who you know from shows like Friday Night Lights, Fargo, and Black Mirror, and movies such as The Power of the Dog, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Civil War. He stars in Begonia, which is in select theaters October 24th and opens nationwide October 31st. Let's take a look.
Okay, can we talk, please? Or are you just going to
We
keep
don't
doing...
need to talk.
Yes, okay.
Because I know exactly what you're going to say. You're going to say that I'm in some kind of internet-induced, auto-hypnotic feedback loop and gatekeepers and norms and all that weak hegemonic horse. But that is precisely the limp rhetoric that you've been instructed to counter the human insurgency with. That's the hyper-normalized dialectic by which you've convinced 7.5 billion people that they're not your captives.
Please welcome back to the show our good friend Jesse Plemons, everybody.
Doing great.
I'm always thrilled to have you here. It's just one of my favorite people to talk to, and one of my favorite people to talk about is your grandmother.
Funny you should bring her up.
Okay.
I can't come here and not relay a message from her.
She always sends a message, and it means the world to me.
Jesse, I wanted to send Mr. Myers a hello message. I hope it's okay. It was okay.
Yeah.
Here goes. Hello there, Mr. Seth Meyers. I want to say how delighted I was for Jesse to be on your show and say I wish I was there so I could see you both in person. Have a good one.
That's great. Really great.
Love you, Granny.
we both love you. Good. Now, does she often, when she texts you, does she often say Jesse first? Even, like, is there a sense that she doesn't understand that you know the text is from her?
Yeah, I mean, she just wants to make sure it's clear.
Is there a formality in the way she addresses you?
I think it's the text.
Oh, right.
Voice,
she's just like, she thinks she's just talking. Yeah.
So maybe it's just making sure everything is.
I didn't realize your grandmother, we've talked about her many times, that she has her own antique store.
She does.
Still operating?
Next time you're in Texas, swing by the Ivy Cottage.
The Ivy
Next time
Cottage.
anyone's in Texas.
Fantastic. How long has she been running the Ivy Cottage?
At least a decade, 10, 15 years. I'm sorry that I don't know.
That's okay.
The precise number.
Is it true that there's a lot of stuff that would remind the shopper that you are her grandson?
Oh God. Yeah. There's a whole sort of shrine right by the register, and then when I married Kirsten, then Kirsten. You know,
yeah. Oh, so it's double shrines too.
Double shrines, but also the most off-putting is I think a photo of me in an episode of Grey's Anatomy where I played a character with Leonidas.
Uh-huh.
And so just seeing that as you're trying to purchase something with no context until she explains it.
That's so it's like a conversation starter.
Maybe.
That's great. And now none of those things are for sale, right? Those are not considered like antiques you can purchase.
Price is right, maybe, I don't know.
You're like, I got an old lamp and I got a weird picture of Jesse. I was talking to Kirsten last time she was here. You know, you have 2 young boys, and you guys currently are not doing a lot of work that's kid-friendly.
No.
I mean, she's done some in the past. You've done a little in the past. You were in, and I will admit, I did not remember that you were in Like Mike.
You didn't remember that?
I didn't remember that. I owe you, as your friend, I owe you a great apology.
Check it out.
And, but your kids, were they excited to see Like Mike?
I don't know. Kirsten put it on when I wasn't home, which I appreciated. I think mildly.
Yeah, but
mildly
not at the
excited.
level you want them to be excited.
And I can't compete with her kid movies.
Yeah.
You know, she has Jumanji and
Yeah.
the list goes on. Small Soldiers.
Small
they
Soldiers,
liked.
yeah. And I'm surprised because we talked about it last time. I would think Spider-Man would be a huge deal for the boys, but she said maybe not quite yet.
It's weird. James, our youngest, he's obsessed with Spider-Man. Like, there was a time when he kind of stayed in character, deep in character, as Spider-Man all day, just webbing everything. But, yeah, kind of didn't seem that impressed that it was.
That's so funny.
Younger
If you're like,
mommy?
Kirsten, are your kids excited you're in Spider-Man? No. Well, they're probably not into Spider-Man. Actually,
No, they really are.
they're kind of like super fans, which makes this all the worse.
Well, she told you they have that little action
Yeah.
figure of her falling
Yeah.
or something. So she is a part of the toy lineup.
Yeah, but it did seem like more because she put it there than they really wanted it. Which is also a
sure.
little bit sad.
I know, it's true.
No, like Mike action figures, right? So you didn't have to do that?
No,
Yeah.
unfortunately, no.
Yeah, you need more. There were no Breaking Bad action figures, right? I feel like.
God, that's a scary
By
one.
the way, you had this is the greasiest I've seen you look in a movie.
Yeah, it's weird because you get focused on the scenes and the work, and you make decisions at the beginning about what your character's going to look like, and then you get used to it and kind of forget how
Right.
dirty you look.
But that's good because the character's not aware of how dirty they look either.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
very busy, Teddy.
He's got a lot going on. In his defense, he's got a lot going on. But it did look like, again, in this era where everything is like sort of CGI, like this just looked like real ass dirt.
Yeah, there were no
There were no
special
tricks.
effects. Yeah.
How did Kirsten respond to the time where you were doing this? I mean, again, I would assume you'd wash up at the end of the day, but
A little bit.
a little bit.
No, I mean I showered, but I didn't wash my hair all that often.
Yeah.
Some of it were extensions, but she did give me tips on how to brush longer hair and.
That's
all
really
of
nice.
that.
As actors, you can provide each other that sort of feedback.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is your second movie with Yorgos. Emma's done 5. Do you feel like I mean, again, it's only your second time, but did you feel like you had a shorthand with him on set this time?
Definitely, and that first movie, if you remember, it was 3 characters in one.
Yeah.
So it was kind
It
of.
felt like 3 movies, yeah.
Yeah, so we were kind of figuring out. This is feels like our 4th. So it definitely helps, and he also brings back a lot of the same crew members and cinematographer and costume designer. So it does feel like a very strange but kind of cozy, weird family.
When you make a movie like this, are you ever, we're talking about how they're not kid-friendly. Again, you're obviously very close with your grandmother. Do you ever think about her going to check out Begonia on a matinee?
As a matter of fact, we were doing a Q&A yesterday at the Draft House here in New York, and they were live streaming to other Draft House theaters across the country, and they just happened to be in Dallas, my mom, my dad, and my grandmother. So I got to say hi to them from Dallas, and I was like very curious, knowing that she was watching me after having just seen me do these things
Yeah.
in this movie. But she was very sweet.
Oh, that's good. I feel like she would be supportive no matter what. But
Yeah.
I'm certainly, if my grandmother was still around, I would not be bringing her to Begonia.
No,
Yeah.
no. I don't think it's as shocking as the last one.
Yeah, as Kinds of Kindness. I think that's right.
Yeah.
And it's, by the way, I highly recommend this movie. I'm just saying, like, plus 90, maybe not.
Yeah. I don't think I'm trying to reach that demographic here, so I think that's
Yeah, I think
safe.
I have a lot more to ask you. We'll be back with more from Jesse Plemons. Welcome back. We're here with Jesse Plemons.
Real quick, I'm going to interrupt. I want to talk to you guys, and if we could all just give it up for Seth for a change. Yes!
Thank you, buddy.
I watch A Closer Look religiously, and it just eases the times a little
Thank you,
bit
buddy.
every
Well,
time I
it
tune
means
in,
the
so.
world coming from you. It's always. I have a lot of respect for you, so that really means a lot. I don't want to be glib about it. I'm going to accept that
Accept
as
it.
meaningful.
Just accept it.
And I'm sorry I didn't remember you were in this.
You should be, but I forgive you.
You play, as we could kind of tell from the clip, a conspiracy theorist in the film. Have you ever dabbled in that?
I certainly did when I was preparing for
Yeah.
this, and that's always the very interesting kind of fun side of the job is you explore corners of humanity, and in this case, the internet that you otherwise probably wouldn't have. So it's very interesting, but yeah, at the same time, it was nice to kind of put that to bed.
You're playing a very dark person, but again, you do have to. I think one of the reasons the movie works so well is like you bring an empathy to a kind of person who could find their way into these beliefs.
Yeah, well, you know, as we've been talking about the movie now that it's coming out, I think one of the things that I really latched onto was this idea that he had of himself and this story that he was telling himself, which we all have. You know, there's this version of how we see ourselves and then the reality. But in his mind, he was the hero, you know, and the fate of humanity was all on his shoulders, and it was up to him. So, yeah, and then the way he goes about that is questionable at times, but
Pretty all the times, yeah.
yeah, that's right.
You obviously Emma. You know, everybody is well aware of how she's one of our great living actors. There's one of your other co-stars, Aiden. What's Aiden's last name?
Delbus.
Aiden Delbus is a kind of a revelation of an actor, and most of your scenes are with him, and I'd never seen him before. But it was impossible not watching the film to be like, oh my God, I've never seen this person before. They're hanging with two of the best, or he's hanging with two of the best the whole film. What was he like to collaborate with?
I mean, first off, he's just such a. He was 17 when we met him. We met him at this. We had to do a camera test because we were using this old camera, and we met him, and I think Yorgos and Emily and myself were all way more nervous to meet him than he was with us, and he's just very self-assured. He had done a few plays in high school theater, loves horror movies, so it kind of made sense that he would enter, the Yorgos sphere, and yeah, very quickly he just felt like a family member, and I just think he brought so much to the movie and elevated that part in a way that only he could have. He's the best.
He's really wonderful, and so much of the movie is the three of you guys in one room together.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you had any weak link, it would bring the whole movie down, and there really just isn't one. It's really cool.
For sure.
I want to ask, my last question is about your Texas upbringing, because I know you competed in
Couple people?
Yeah.
Or you're just fans
we have
of Texas?
we have the quietest Texans in New York. Yeah.
Shy Texans.
So I heard you were like, as a kid, you would compete in rodeos, but then I saw one of your, I guess, competitions was goat hair pulling.
Yeah.
But now, what now? Is it what it sounds like?
Well, I guess they have to get creative with young kids because it's kind of limited as to what they can do. But there's barrel racing and all of the more traditional events. But this one in particular, I don't remember questioning it as a child. But every time I talk about it now, it's like, wow, someone came up with this. It's a timed event. The kid rides their horse down the arena, jumps off. There's a goat, obviously. And you have to run, I guess, make sure you get at least a strand of goat hair.
Okay. So that's the goat hair pulling, is you're pulling a hair from the goat.
And then run across the finish line, clock stops, show the judge.
Gotcha. Wow. And then does the judge go back and match it to the goat to make sure? Well, because some people, you could just have some pre-pulled hair in your pocket, and then you run over and then you run back, and then they're like, wait a second, that goat's not blonde. Yeah, I'm a conspiracy theorist too, but just about goat stuff. Hey, buddy, thanks for being back. Congrats on the film. Love your whole family. Jesse Plemons, everybody. Begonia opens select theaters October 24th. Nationwide, October 31st. We'll be right back with Aaron and Sarah Foster.